Hello, everyone. I am Claudio Murgan, the host of the Spiritual Inspired podcast, and my guest today is no other than Diamond No. Diamond has been described as a divine rebel, freedom seeker, and as a gateway between worlds. She was born with insane psychic gifts, connection to all that is, and memories of all her past lives. She chose a path in her early adulthood that brought her modern-day tools and experiences that have allowed her to support a sea of souls across our planet. Her soul contract was signed, sealed, and delivered in her early 20s, and she hasn't looked back since. She works with her ascended masters, the collective, our brothers and sisters above our atmosphere, to bring full clarity and healing to the souls she has the privilege of connecting with. Diamond, I welcome you to the show today. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
And I would like to start with the moment you realized what your capabilities are. Were you afraid in any way?
Oh, it's so interesting because my journey has been one where I remembered everything since being in the womb. So I remember being in my mom's womb. And one of my top ascended guides is named Max. So that conversation was always active. And as a little girl, I really clued into these gifts when I was sort of bounced around from home to home as a young child. And I remember just watching and observing everybody who was taking care of me and trying to figure out, how do I morph myself to match their fear? And I could just see the fear, the subconscious fear that was residing within everyone. So it sort of morphed myself. And then the gifts got stronger and stronger and stronger as I grew up. So it's always been there. There's been a few moments, more so in my teens, like learning what spirit is and having some connections with spirit that were a little uncomfortable in the beginning. But once I learned that they're just a reflection of me, so I just moved into love and I was like, all right. And then it just settled right out. And here I am 40 something years later.
Interesting. And did you allow the other people to know about your capabilities? Did you open up to them?
Not at all. No. I remember everybody saying imaginary friends aren't real. And I was like, well, what do you mean they're not real? Like, they're sitting right here, not realizing that I was different. So I just learned to kind of keep it quiet because they couldn't see. And being so strongly connected to Max, my top guide, he was like, they're not going to know, they're not going to understand, but the time will come, we promise. And so I just kept it really quiet until I was about probably 20. Yeah.
And what exactly is, or who exactly is Max? Is he a Pleiadian, Arcturian? Who exactly is he?
Oh, so this is going to nerve a little bit of people here. So I am a starseed. I'm a hybrid of a lot of different lives. So I can remember a lot of different, almost all my lives, I'm pretty sure, but I have experienced a lot of different galactic experiences. And Max is a blend of the positive draconian, and I'm a hybrid of Octarian and Anunnaki as well. So just a little bit of a hybrid. And he's sort of like an authoritative, get your butt in gear kind of guy for me. So I was very shy as a little girl, very introverted. And he was the one that was like, courage, babe, courage, let's go. So he's way up there. Yeah.
And did you figure out if you are coming from the Anunnaki side of Enki or Enlil? Do you know that?
I'm not actually sure. I don't think I've really, for me, it's like when I look at being a starseed, we have so many origins and so many of us are hybrids that I don't tend to put my focus on what exactly am I. I more so put my focus on what am I here to explore, expand, and evolve into. So I haven't really dove into what threads am I in particular, because I feel like I'm just a lot of things. So instead it's like, okay, what's that conversation? What's required for my vibration? How do I navigate the divine purpose that I'm here to navigate? So my focus has been more there instead of worrying about exactly what am I, because I don't think one thing is ever for anybody, right?
Yes. And is your specialty reading and healing what people are going through, or just understanding what they are going through and giving them some guidance on how to handle the situation?
Mm-hmm. My main divine purpose, it has been a progression. As anybody who steps into soul purpose or divine purpose, it will always evolve. So it started with understanding and resonating. And, having been there, bought the t-shirt, sort of done it myself, I always joke about, I did it the hard way, so you don't have to. I can shorten the curve for you. And I do feel that's part of my purpose, but the purpose has evolved. So now where my main focus is, so I teach the Power 369. I teach how to apply that individually. I teach how to use quantum entanglement instead of it just being this vague umbrella of like, okay, that's neat. Like, what do we actually do with it, right? I'm a very curious soul, so I went on a big discovery for that. And the team that I have a team of mentors that are trained to go into what is that subconscious belief that's the vibration that's not serving you, right? So our belief structure, there's 5 steps to creation. So your subconscious belief, which is a 95%, like you're not even aware of it, that subconscious belief creates an emotion in the body. That emotion is your frequency. That frequency becomes your perception, how you perceive your reality, your past and your future, and that becomes your outcome. So my mentors, which I've done for 20 years, and now I'm handing over the torch to my top mentors. So they dive in and look at what are those limiting beliefs and how do we transmute them? How do we transform that vibration so that you can align with your desired path as well as your divine purpose? So right now, my main role is supporting the mentors and training and launching people into divine purpose, as well as hosting retreats with like all of the nerdy stuff that I love, like the Power 369, quantum entanglement, like all of that jazz. So yeah.
So what are the well-known ascended masters do you work with?
So I actually don't even prefer the term ascended masters when I work with them. They're guides. And there's such a variety. And the more you understand how to liberate yourself from lower vibration, and you go into those meditative states and have those energy attunements, it is actually limitless, the path that you can connect to. So there's so much diversity available for us. I've spent the last 2 years in a private membership, which is just on pause for the summer right now, working with all of the galactic councils. So it was whoever was like predominant, whatever messages needed to come through. So there's not like a set thing, and you can expand that into channeling and working with whatever's available for you, as long as your vibration can sustain that. So that's why that healing piece is so important, to make sure you can get there. But there's like the Galactic Federation of Light, the Galactic Council, there's Anunnaki, there's the Octurian, there's Palladian. I don't work so much with the Palladians. There's like the positive side of reptilian, like it's limitless. Yeah.
So all these, let's say, gatherings of entities from outside our planet, they are real. I mean, people don't believe that they are real, like the collective or the Council of Nine or Galactic Federation. They're all real, correct?
They are, yeah. Yep. Well, either that or I'm 10 shades of crazy. So either way, I'm fine with it.
That means you are not the only one, because there are so many people which are in connection with these entities. So they're all, let's say, either true believers or they are crazy. So yes.
Yeah. Well, and it's also like your perception does create your reality, right? Like this is in the quantum realm. So whatever you truly perceive and really believe is always going to be your experience. So there's people in 3rd dimensional consciousness or even 4th dimensional consciousness that their perception isn't there yet. So they're not going to have those experiences. And it's as you evolve into 5th dimensional consciousness, 6th dimensional consciousness, that you start to have those connections and those conversations. So it is really like you create your reality. And some people just aren't in that timeline. And a lot of us are, like starseeds are waking up hard and fast right now.
Yes. I listened to the post you from yesterday, where right now, August 11th, you posted something on August 10th, and this interview is still relevant for this month because it's going to be published by the end of August, and we'll get there. But I want to go back to your past lives. Do you have any special past life that either impressed you or gave you strength in this lifetime?
It would be probably my galactic lives. I've had quite a few human lives, and at a very young age, really identified that when we come here, the trauma or the discomfort or the disharmony that we experience growing up in our human experience is to help us understand what humanity requires for our awakening, for our ascension, for the evolution of the collective. So at a very young age, having these dreams of past lives was more so, it felt like studying, where I was like, oh, that's what pain is. That's what heartbreak is. That's what love is. And I didn't get a lot of love or nurturing, very, very challenging childhood in this life. And so all the human lives were able to reflect to me like, oh, that's what nurturing is. Oh, that's what being embraced and being seen and being valued is. So kind of like, a whole series of movies were really transformative for me at a very young age in order to be able to sustain my journey here. Otherwise, I don't know if I could have. And then I have a few galactic lives where I am in a warrior position or a leadership position. And so those are kind of neat, where it's like, okay, there is purpose, there is an agenda, there is a plan, and nothing needs to be forced or rushed. It's in motion, right? So that sort of takes the fear out of some of the, for lack of better terminology, conspiracy stuff that's being, unfolding right now. Takes the fear right out of that for me so that I can continue to navigate and not get captivated by, some of the disharmony on this planet. Yeah.
Yes. It will be wonderful for each of us to remember where are we coming from, our previous experiences. But I think this is the magic of living on Earth in 3 dimension with the struggle and the everyday, challenges to get to that point. And in my first book, I wrote about this idea: what if all souls will go up at the same time?
Yeah.
And even those which cannot keep up with the starseeds, let's say, God will help them, or the divine will help them to lift up at the same time. So we will leave behind a clean earth, or at least earth dominated by animals and flowers and plants and things like this. So it was an interesting idea, which I wrote about years ago.
Yeah, I love that. And it's actually prophesied in so many different faiths, right? That there will be paradise on earth, right? It's part of the agenda. It's where we're going. It's just, we are so frustrated with the stagnation and what we perceive as the evil and the corruption here. But when we kind of take our focus into how do I become the biggest source of high vibration, of love, of light, of clarity, of guidance individually, that sort of expands into our electromagnetic field, and we start to have this ripple effect. And that's where, we're being, through the starseed connections, where we're being really guided to navigate towards. And Gaia is her own entity. She is very, very aware of her plan and her agenda.
Yes, and we don't know, or we don't want to acknowledge, or most of us don't want to acknowledge that Gaia is a living organism with her own consciousness. And that's why we are going through various changes right now, changes we cannot stop. But people are stubborn enough to say, no, we can stop this. No, you cannot. So we'll see what the results will be, but I don't think will be in our favor, at least for the short term.
But what's in our favor though, right? Like if Gaia is aware of what she's doing, and there is no such thing as an ending to your experience, it's just like a caterpillar moving into a butterfly sort of analogy, right? So is there a horrible outcome? I know that sounds, and it's so triggering for so many, but really truly it's endless flow and expansion and evolution. And Gaia is so aware of what's required. And she has been patient with us. Like, we're a bunch of spoiled little toddlers. So, pretty sure she's going to be like, okay, guys, enough is enough at some point very, very soon. And then start to sort of restructure herself. And and I know that on a soul level, so many of us are aware of that and ready to support her. Right?
Yes. Yeah, we live interesting times, that's for sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
Diamond, I saw that you wear the Flower of Life tattoo. Why this particular one?
So in the quantum realm, there's many matrices, right? So I'm not going to get all into like the matrix and living in a simulation. but it is an energetic flow. And so the flower of life is actually how the human experience sort of evolves itself. So if you imagine yourself as one of those circles in the flower of life, and we have all these interlayering circles, right? So your vibration, the bigger, higher your vibration, the more you impede on or take over the other souls around you. And the lower your vibration, the more fear-based, survival-based it is, the less of an impact you have. So really supporting the collective with their own evolution, awakening, ascension is about how big can I get my vortex? How high, how expanded can I take that vibration? And then it starts to have a trickle effect into everything else, because everything's co-connected. And my favorite universal law to teach is the universal law of divine oneness. And that really, truly is the energetic vibration of the sacred flower of life.
Yes, indeed. And it's still the origin is the Trinity. And we should look at these symbols from, as you mentioned, with your hands, like a sphere, not a two-dimensional symbol, but a three-dimensional, like a sphere, and
like honeycombs.
Exactly. Everything is happening in there and on the outside of the sphere as well. So there are records going thousands of years BC where this symbol showed up on pyramids or statues. It's so universal because it seems that this is the starting point of creation. And it's interesting that again you wear that on your skin.
On my skin. Yeah. I think it's just so, there's so many powerful, beautiful experiences that we have as we move along this ascension path. And the first time that I embodied and really experienced through my whole being the universal law of divine oneness, I was speechless for about 3 days. I was just like, what? Because it was so deep and so transformative. And in that I did see, the sacred flower of life in all of its dimensions and becoming all of that I had to put it on my body. I was like, it's such a beautiful, beautiful experience and such a beautiful frequency. So I was like, yeah, let's just put it on there.
Nice. And I mentioned your recent post, and you talk about August, the month of August, and how important that is for us. And you're a little bit down on that during that session. And I wanted to cheer you by using this background with flowers and colorful
so
field.
And
if you can summarize for us a little bit why August is so important.
So we've had a series over the last, everybody's feeling it, like pre-pandemic, we'll use that term. We saw people jolting awake and being like, what is this like spiritual stuff, right? Like, what is this? So as we've been navigating towards a big transition that's coming up the end of September and October, we've had opportunities. There's energetic wavelength coming down. There's energetic healing coming down from our galactic families that's supporting the evolution of Gaia, that's holding her, loving her, nurturing her, as well as us. So the communication's been stronger, the connections have been stronger, and we're wrapping it up here in August. So August is fine-tune your fears. This is about becoming fearless. This is about really owning the vibration of trust. And one of the lessons that I really love to teach when we're moving through things, the human brain is its own thing, right? Like it's a beautiful mechanism. I look at it as a wild stallion that just wants a friend. I calm it down, mount it, arrive at my destination with more ease, love my ego. But it can get carried away in storytelling. And so August is stirring up what's going on within us for us to look at, for us to be like, oh, this wants to be healed. This wants to be transformed. And as we do that, what we're doing is restructuring or changing the vibration that's deep, deep, deep in your cellular structure. And that's what radiates into your electromagnetic field. That's the law of vibration. Energy vibrates. The law of attraction responds to the law of vibration. So everybody out there that's trying to manifest, you're already manifesting. 100% you're already doing it. Slow down and ask yourself, what's in my vortex? Where are my thoughts? Where are my feelings? Where are my emotions? Because that's what you're going to be receiving experiences of. So August is like that magnified, where we're like, Oh, I have a limiting belief on sustainability. Oh, I have a limiting belief on receiving, that I'm worthy of receiving. So it's this deep dive into one thing after another surfacing from the subconscious, either through memories, through experiences, through lack, through inconvenience, through people, places, things, of what is the law of correspondence reflecting to me, so that I can look at that, address it, heal it, transform it. And the energy is massive. And we're sandwiched between two supermoons, right? Like the beginning of August and the end of August. This is a big sandwich of here's all the vibes, guys. So it's sort of catapulting us or speeding up that process. And then as we move into September, we're really, really going to require the vibration of trust, trusting Gaia, trusting the outcome, not looking at all of the chaos or conspiracy stuff, even though it's not conspiracy, but whatever. All the stuff that's out there. We really want to hold and anchor our vibration for the massive transition that's coming up energetically for us in September and October. November, December are going to be gorgeous, but we're going through about 7 weeks of gross. So heads up with that one. So August is an opportunity to really embody, become the vibration of trust and the divine gender that you are, that power.
And in being summertime, I think it's in our advantage because we can go outside, we can ground, we can spend time in nature as much as possible. And that's, again, in our favor to absorb that energy from the sun, from all angles.
All angles. And it's so interesting. One of the things that I've just been recently talking about, and I had this experience about 10 minutes before you and I met this morning. So I went outside to take my dog out and do a little bit of grounding before we connected. And the insects right now, has anybody else noticed how in your face and in your space they are? Telepathy is being advanced right now for across the board, whether you're aware of it or not. And telepathy is not a language exchange, it's an intention exchange. It's a knowing exchange. So I go outside and I have like 4 bumblebees land on my arm and I'm like, well, hi, like what's going on? And it was just this like sharing of vibration and of energy. So as soon as you logged on with all your flowers, I was like, oh, talk about like alignment, right? Yeah.
Yes, I do spend quite a bit of time every day in my garden tending to the tomatoes and the other plants and the mugwort. I'm trying to build a connection with the mugwort, but it takes time.
Yeah.
Because one of my previous guests was Emma Farrell, which is a spirit plant healer. And I observe, in fact, that there are more insects around me and around the plants. Mm-hmm. So now it makes sense with what you say. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. There's this beautiful, like we're moving into unity. Like that's the goal right here is unity, right? That's the end game. That's the end result is unity. And it's not unity between humanity. We are personally very far off from that, but it's unity as a full collective with Gaia, with everything that is bountiful, everything that is alive, everything that is in vibration with her. So the insects are starting to do that. I've had a whole like family of little bunnies show up in my backyard and I live in the city. So I'm like, oh, like it's just this beautiful opportunity to experience unity. And that's going to come through that intentional telepathy as well. So it's so great that you're experiencing that.
Yeah, bunnies are not good for my garden, to be honest with
they
you.
Are not. They are not.
They're gonna eat everything.
Just tell them, talk to them. Be like, okay, guys, this is my space and this is your space. And just donate something to them, like a little sacrifice. Like, here, have this.
Yes. And because we talk about Mother Earth, and when we do that, we think of divine feminine power. How this transition affects the feminine power at, let's say, women's level, your level, my wife's level, everyone's level.
So the divine feminine with along Gaia is learning boundaries, right? Like the vibration that resides on Gaia has been a little bit opposite, obviously, of hers. And so she's navigating into, the divine feminine is navigating into sustaining our power. And power doesn't mean projection. Power doesn't mean force. Power doesn't mean evil or dominating. Power means I will hold all of this and become unstoppable. And in that, I'm going to start setting boundaries with you. Healthy, positive, beautiful boundaries of not absorbing anyone's lower vibration or intention. So We're all sort of navigating, and we all have divine feminine and masculine, but the feminine within all of us is learning boundaries, clarity, how to say no properly, how to share that in a loving vibration, and to push off, that negativity.
And also, will the men gather or gain more of their feminine power as well to have a balance in their own personality?
100%. If you look at the way society structures have gone, and we look at the wave of women, more specifically late 20s, late 30s right now, those women have become their own man. I did it. So many of us have become our own man because of that masculine vibration that's been going on for so long. Not necessarily in the divine level, but a lot of women are internalizing their divine masculine. And now the pendulum's going over to the other side, where we're going to enhance that divine feminine. So there is so many men. And even in my students, like I have students all over Gaia, like every country except for China right now. And the men that are coming forward have become their own woman just recently. And it's recalibrating and finding that balance. Both genders are essential for each individual, but when you own your birth divine gender, which is a knowing, it's not necessarily the body parts, it's a knowing, that's where your power resides. That's where you can expand your vortex, your evolution, your awakening, and all of that. So we are going to see a shift in the masculine, the divine masculine, harnessing their feminine, which just means more vulnerability, more communication, more transparency, more inner child deep healing. It's, oh, this is what I'm feeling. This is why I'm feeling. And just creating a better union and bond between the masculine and feminine.
Yes, I mean the humanity's traumas is immense, is humongous from 13th, 14th century onwards. The killing, the pillages, the everything, the disasters that took place, added to our karma individually and as humanity. So we really have to do a lot of cleanup.
I look at it more as an evolutionary process. And, when we can get into neutrality, which is also compassion, which is also love, when we get into neutrality and go, okay, we're a relatively new species, right? And we're a crossbreed of a lot of different things, learning how to use the universal laws, learning how contrast can propel a species. And without that contrast, without those lower vibrations, we wouldn't understand the magnitude of how high we can go. It's like that slingshot effect, right? So even though our planet has been very dominated by greed, very dominated by, low vibration, it originated as a planet of survival. And its evolutionary state right now is evolving from a survival-based planet and species on it into a thriving planet, a higher vibration planet. And that's where we're going to see the unity come into play. So whether we were an experiment, I don't know, or whatever that be, it's a part of the evolutionary process, and it's inevitable. It's impossible for it not to happen, because it's just simply evolution. So over time, we're just so impatient because we're so compassionate and we want it so bad, right? Yes. We want to just hold each other and be in that thriving vibe. And our biggest downfall and our biggest gift is our compassion. So we use our compassion to be like, I ache for better. But in that ache, it's how do I become better? How do I make this particular experience in this meat suit better? And then that sets the example and leads the way. And so it's going to happen regardless. Like it's impossible for it not to. It's just nothing needs to be forced or rushed, but our compassion kicks in and we're like, no. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of us will go there willingly. Some of us will go there kicking and screaming. I mean, I think this is the way it might be.
It's a slow transition. It's a slow transition of people going, oh, they seem pretty happy. All right. And navigating over. Yeah. Yeah.
Diamond, we talk about, Galactic Federation and our brothers and sisters from up there. And recently there are a lot of UFO disclosures. Do you think that this will pave the way for bigger revelations soon?
What I've been shown in my downloads and the conversations that I've been able to have with the Council of Nine and the Blue Avian energy right now is there's always, how do I word this so that it's not triggering? There's always an agenda. It's inevitable that that will happen at some point. Humanity is nowhere near ready for it at all. So in the elite or lower vibrational entities on the earth, the controlling ones, and in the love and light, positive, moving direction, they're both planting seeds. You know, everybody is aware that this is eventually just going to flip over, like it's going to happen. So they're both dropping hints. They're both dropping notes. When we look at the elite, we'll just stick to that term, they know our evolution and they know, oh no, they're figuring it out. So they're going to start to plant seeds, right? That's when the spiritual movement happened. So if you look back to around 2010, 2011 is when, you know, Oprah, Eckhart Tolle, all of those things started coming. And what I've been shown with that was, okay, they're waking up to this evolutionary process. So let's label it spirituality. Let's put a glass ceiling at it. Let's make it feel impossible to fully awaken. And we'll stay there for a while. We'll control them. And we do see a lot of people sort of trapped in that fourth dimensional consciousness right now. As we start to navigate, they know, okay, they're talking to the galactic, like some of them have realized they're star seeds, so we better plant some seeds. So now they're planting seeds of like disclosure. They've always been here. They created us. It is what it is. It's just been hidden from us, but probably for our own good at the time. So yes, there's going to be some big unfolding, but I truly don't feel that what's being exposed through the disclosure is the truth. I feel it's the star seeds that are the ones that are communicating with what's the intention, what's the purpose, what's the plan here? Like, what's the plan? That's coming through those that are channeling right now. And it's us that are going to collect all the star seeds. We're going to start to navigate and collect and be the ones to bring that information forward. Everything that's trickling out, I think, is still a control mechanism of like, okay, yeah, they're there, but let's keep you under here, right? So the same thing that they did with spirituality. They moved from religion to spirituality, and now they're moving into like, okay, galactic and the quantum realm, right? So they're just trying to hold back our evolution by feeding us false food.
Yes,
that's what I've been shown.
Yeah, and to me, it's a two-step process. They will reveal about the UFOs more and more, and then the first step and second step will be, yes, you are an experiment. This is when some people might have a nervous breakdown to acknowledge and
gonna be hella
swallow.
Mad.
Swallow that information.
Yeah, when I had to swallow that information, I was mad. I was like pacing around my house being like, are you serious? Like I felt so violated. But then the more I got into it, I was like, oh, okay, I see and I understand now. And yeah, there's like, it is that process, right? Where information is going to sort of seep in. There is a huge news drop coming the end of September in October. So I'm not going to speak to that just yet. I'm getting all these pieces of it, but there'll be this like launch of like, oh, these are demigods. This is what star seeds are. And we're going to sort of transition through that. So I'll be recording the September monthly forecast really soon. And I'm going to put all of that in there, but I am not taking that into a public platform because there's so much information in it. But yeah, we're going to be shifting, and it's the starseeds that are already channeling, that are in the high vibration, that are in unity, that are in thriving, that are understanding their energy impacts the world. Those are the ones. We are the ones that are going to be, here's the disclosure, here's the truth. And
yes.
it'll be beautiful, absolutely stunning. And then maybe they'll land, we'll see.
Yes. Yeah. And for those who want to find out more about us being an experiment, just go and read the Sumerian texts, and I leave it there.
100%. It's all there.
And going back to agendas, there's a big push right now to turn us into transhumans, embed technology under the skin. How do you perceive this concept? And do you have any ideas about the Homo Luminous concept?
So I've just started going down the rabbit hole on that with two of my soul families, two of my fellow starseeds. I have a lot of strong opinions, but they're my opinions. So I think I'm going to keep my opinions for me right now, until I've dove in a little bit further, right? But it's a very long time ago. I was given a vision of a division in humanity, and there was what was called clean cities, and there was community. And so it is a high probability that that could happen. But again, nothing is ever set in stone. So the main thing I want to say about this, universal flow understands focus, not choice. The universal flow, there is no such thing as the universe. It is not exterior. That would go against the universal law of oneness. We are universal flow. It is moving through you. It's in every cell of your body. So we are all connected through vibration. Universal flow does not understand choice. It understands focus. So why I'm sharing this is, with all of this unfolding, if we start to put our focus on, holy poo, this is happening, this is unjust, this is unfair, this is not good, we need to stop this, we need to fight this, what's the focus?
It's going to happen.
You're going to do it. You're adding to it. So you're creating it. Don't do that. Instead, we want to put our focus on, I'm evolving, I'm ascending, I'm connecting into the galactic, the I am energy that is the physical reality of this meat suit. And when we put our focus into unity, love, we put our focus into, there is an agenda. We know there's good and bad, if we want to call it that. But an outcome is an outcome. And the outcome, the majority of thought in the quantum realm, the majority of thought, perception, focus creates the outcome. So if we're putting our focus on that, we're getting all up in arms, we're adding to it, it's going to happen. If we are instead putting our focus towards what we're here to actually do, your soulful divine purpose, your high vibration, it's not going to happen. It's not. And to support Gaia and to support the collective of humanity, the more starseeds that awaken and connect into the collective that's above us, the more we're bringing that energy here on Earth. We have free will. That's why they want to do this, transhuman situation. They want to stop the free will so that we can't connect in, so that they can keep us and they can have this dense vibration. So the more we put our focus on our meditative state, on our connection, on working with those ascended energies, the more we're becoming a higher vibration. We're feeling that into everything that we think about, everything that we walk by, everything we talk about. It's an energetic exchange. So the higher your vibration, the higher the outcome. And you have a ripple effect. When you're high vibing, your electromagnetic field is huge, right? So when you're spending time with someone, theirs and yours are intermingling. High vibrations like fire, low vibrations like ice, for metaphor. Ice can do nothing to fire, nothing, but fire can melt and transform the ice, that low vibration, that fear vibration. So this is an individual meat suit experience here. And that's what's going to change the collective. That's what's going to change the outcome. So nothing is set in stone ever. We are participating in the creation. So where's your focus?
Yes. And to be honest with ourselves, the events around us are so triggering, are so intense, that it's almost impossible to ignore them. And they are daily. It's not like there is a break in the news and break in the upheaval of feelings. No, it's like you are bombarded every single day, and it's quite hard to detach yourself from all these distractions, destructive distractions.
Yeah, the way I look at it is, we are in a narcissistic relationship. It's a narcissistic relationship, and you have the opportunity to continue to be abused, or you have the opportunity to walk away. And that's what it is. And what does it take to walk away from a narcissist? I've been there. What does it take to walk away from a narcissist? It takes a lot of damn courage. It takes a lot of focus. It takes a lot of self-worth. It takes a lot of self-love. It takes a tremendous amount of self-nurturing. And it takes choice. It takes choice. We have to make the decision to walk away from that. So the reason we're bombarded and the reason it's coming out everywhere and the reason people are fixating on it is because they don't understand that if you put your focus on it, you're adding to it. And if that's the only lesson that anybody ever took from our conversation today, freaking brilliant. Don't put your focus on it. It's like, don't submerge yourself in TikTok. When we can observe and participate in looking at this knowledge or at the stuff that's unfolding in a state of neutrality, right? Like, it is what it is. And that's what I mean by compassion is our biggest default as much as it is our biggest gift. So it's slowing down and being like, okay, if you need to know, go ahead, go know. But then you got to detox yourself from that. And you got to walk away from that narcissistic energy. And then you got to put your focus back on your healing journey, healing your subconscious so that your vibration can be as substantial as it can be. And that's going to allow you to connect into the galactic. And that's going to allow that energy to come down. And that's what's going to create the change on this planet.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Thank you. Diamond, you mentioned several times starseeds. Are there multiple types of starseeds?
Limitless. Limitless. Wow. Limitless. Like we'd be silly to think that just outside of our sphere that there's like 10. Like it's limitless. There's limitless galaxies. There's limitless universes. So there's vibration and creation in a never-ending stream ever. Like it's limitless. So yes. And you can connect into wherever your vibration is, right? So most people will start with Palladian, they'll have, or Arcturian, because those are like kind of the closest to us. And they're very love and very light and very beautiful and sweet and passionate and kind and beautiful experience. So I can pick out Palladian starseeds in half a heartbeat. They look like love and light. And then there's multiple layers and divisions and councils. And yeah, it's limitless. Yeah.
Interesting. I had, in fact, my 2 weeks ago guest was Vivian Chauvet, which is an Arcturian hybrid.
I saw that one.
Yeah?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Beautiful vibes. Yeah.
Thank you. Diamond, in your opinion, what's the most important goal one should have in this existence? I mean, we briefly touched, but maybe for someone who wants the essence of it.
Mm-hmm. The goal is to surrender. How much do you hate that? Oh, I remember when I discovered that, it was like, no, you just need to surrender. And I was like, I can't, but like, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to work? So the biggest goal is to navigate your journey in moving from survival instinctual vibration into thriving energy. The more you align with your desires, the more energy you have to offer, the brighter, the bigger your vortex, the more impact you have on the collective of humanity and Gaia herself. We are here for an evolutionary process. Nothing will ever be forced. Nothing will ever be rushed. If you are trying to get that great meditation or trying to channel, you are in the energy of it's not happening, therefore it won't happen. So that's what I mean by surrender. Let go of the expectation of outcome. You have a soul compass. You have a compass, and it will reroute you over and over and over and over again, no matter how far off course you get. It knows what it's here for. It knows the way. So when we let go of fear, we let go of lack, we let go of survival, we can hear that compass through the ego self. And then we get inspired action, one of the universal laws, inspired action. And then we find the next step and the next step and the next step. You are here to experience your highest possible timeline in the path of least resistance. That is your birthright. We just love to complicate it and go into survival mode or into fear mode. So by surrendering, by letting go, and I remember the first time that I got that download, I was like, you can't just let go. Like, how's money going to come? And how is this going to come? But it's a journey. It's a long journey. So in order to allow that, the biggest tip I can offer is understand why and how to truly heal your inner child. Because in the Power 369, we look at the infinity symbol, okay? And that center point of the infinity symbol is your experience right here. The past is that loop that flows through here, grabs onto and recreates. And then there's the past and it comes through and it recreates. So you're constantly aligning with your perception of what was. When you heal your perception of what was, it changes the flow of that infinity symbol. So what will be becomes your highest timeline, becomes the best possible outcome. And then you start to get that and you're like, oh, that's normal. Okay, this is good. And then you can take that vision higher and higher and higher and higher each time you're revisiting what was. So healing the inner child is essential, and that is the only way. And it sounds so fluffy, but it's healing your subconscious. Your subconscious, your emotional body is your inner child. And so for your emotional body to be healed and support the mental body, to support the physical and the spiritual body, you're going to change your entire trajectory, your entire life path by doing that. So that is the biggest point. And to understand that it doesn't have to be fluffy and light and loving, and you don't have to have forgiveness. That's a big lie. You have to have neutrality. And it is simply an experience. You're just here to experience. So take the pressure off your shoulders. Like, you're not doing it wrong. You're not navigating wrong. When you slow down and you surrender and then you do all that other stuff, the love inspired action flows through you with so much ease, and your soul compass is on fire. And it's like pedal to the metal, you just go. And it's amazing. And it's limitless what you can align with. Like, you can align with anything, everything.
Thank you. I would like to reflect more on this, but we have to go on right now, and I'll reflect later on.
All right.
Because it's quite powerful, and I can relate a lot to what you said. So
Beautiful.
For those watching, please go back, rewind, listen again, because it's quite important. Thank you.
Thank you.
Diamond, what's your perception of God, divinity?
I am God. You are God. I do not want anyone to ever put their power outside of themselves. You are universal flow. There's no such thing as the universe or source or something exterior. You are universal flow in motion, in a physical manifestation, in a perception of a physical manifestation. So divinity is the highest vibration. It's the vibration of creation, but you are the creator of your reality. So you're just a physical version of the matrix of creation. And that's all it is. It's just one big, beautiful wavelength. In quantum physics, it's just a wavelength of creation. And it's when it's observed that it becomes a reality. It's when thought is put into motion through observation that it becomes a reality. So it's just simply flow. You are flow. So you don't have to put your power outside of yourself. You are the divine. That's all it is. We all are the divine. Some of us are acting like toddlers. Some of us are acting like, very old, wise women, men. But it is what it is. It's just flow.
So in other words, we are a very successful divine experiment.
We are a very successful divine experiment. And in part of that experiment, are they controllable? Can they connect into their own truth that they are us? Those that created us are from the same source, from the same energy. We're the same thing. Right? In my program, Fully Awaken and Ascend, I really dive into the universal law of divine oneness. And I give this beautiful analogy of the sea of consciousness. Everything is just in motion. Everything is just flowing. It's all submerged in the sea of consciousness. So it's not separate from you. It's just the ego that says it is. But that is the whole point of being human. The whole point of being human is like, how many pleasure things do we have? We've got taste buds, we've got pleasure buttons, we've got visual stimulation, we've got music. What an incredible experience. I'm not so sure our galactic brothers and sisters get to eat, like drink wine, for example, right? Like that's a really pleasurable experience. So, we're all the same thing. There is no right or wrong. It's just simply here to be an experience. That's all.
Yes. So none of your friends from up there asked you to get into your body like in the ghost movie for them to taste the wine when you taste it.
I know, right? They shake their head. They're like, we don't understand you. And I'm like, well, that's all right. We don't understand you. As I'm holding my glass of wine, like, cheers.
We touch here and there on what you offer. Let's summarize a little bit and go a little bit deeper into how you can help my audience and people in general.
We've got, like I've been doing this for over 20 years, right? I've had the honor, the privilege of meeting souls across the entire world and supporting them in their ascension process. So over the last several years, the biggest thing I've been doing is retreats, teaching the Power 369 and quantum entanglement. So what I did was I took that entire program, that entire retreat, and it's in a recorded program. So it's a lot of information. It is not for the faint of heart. It is, you've got to pay attention. It's not easy stepping stones. It is from the realization that you are universal flow all the way through how to integrate the Power 369. There's quantum entanglement, universal law, there's everything in it. It is all of my life's work in one program, and it's being put into a book right now, which is really exciting. So that program is available. That is amazingly powerful content. Because the subconscious is so important, we have an inner child program that's only $27. It's like, here, this is why, this is how, do the work on your own, get it done. Like I just want it in as many hands as we can get it in. And then we have our program Divine Alignment, where mentors that have been with me for several years have been highly trained to take people through the journey of discovering what is in that subconscious that's blocking or limiting you. So Divine Alignment is a one-on-one program with my top mentors who treasure hunt on what's that low vibration and help you transform it with a tremendous amount of tools on how to keep it sustainable and how to keep your awakening process happening, how to connect in and become a channeler, how to enhance your psyche, all of those things. But it all starts with, let's have a look at those beliefs. So those are the three main things we do. And then I privately offer, which I think we're going to take public next year, launching people into divine purpose. So I run 3 beautiful groups of divine souls, help them discover their divine purpose, launch them into, that's my corporate background, is business development. So it's like all the tools. And that's something about divine purpose, guys. Like everything that you have gone through somehow, I don't know, but it's so crazy, somehow comes together in a full, like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do in the world. And so the smallest things that you've done in the past somehow connect in, which is really, really neat. So I get the honor of supporting mentors and launching them into divine purpose. So those are the main things that we do right now.
Great.
For
and
now.
You mentioned corporate, and I recently asked another guest how he is able to get his message into corporations, if corporations are willing to bring him over and teach their employees about, positive energy, mind rebranding, and new neural networks. Have you been able to break through their walls?
I've chosen a different route. So I have a very extensive corporate background. So my preference is to privately work with public eye figures and let them deliver the message. My passion is to work with the HR departments or an individual that's in a VP of operations or CEO position and let them bring that message through the company. But when you have such a beautiful, challenging collective within a corporation, the goal with sharing divine purpose is to never trigger someone, right? If you trigger them, they're in low vibration, ears are shut down, they won't open up to it. You've just slowed down their process, their evolution process. So I never want to force feed anything to anyone. That's why I don't do a whole lot of social media. I play. And when something's powerful and it's there, I share. So honestly, if whatever your vibration is, the things align with you, right? It's the law of vibration, everything vibrates, law of attraction responds to it. So if that's something that's really strong desire, become that vibration of speaking in corporate boardrooms. And that's going to happen for the right people, the right souls. But you get 1 or 2 in there that aren't ready for it, you're going to trigger them. And I don't want that kind of karma. I don't want that kind of heaviness. So I just stick to YouTube, and if people like it, they like it. Sometimes I do TikTok, which is super fun. Sometimes it's not. I don't know. I just, here I am. Find me. Yes. They usually show up. Yeah.
Thank you. Diamond, we are approaching the end of the interview. Any final thoughts?
The only final thought I think that I would love for people to really take from this is please always remember that your soul knows the way. And when you move out of fear, when you move out of panic, when you move out of lack mentality, when you spend time nurturing that inner babe, the inner child, your whole world will change. Your entire reality will change. And it's scary and it takes courage. And my motto is be brave, be bold, be raw. Never stop believing that you have divine purpose here and that you are needed and that you are loved. You are the vibration of love. You are loved. So keep going.
Thank you very much for these wise words. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
It's been an honor sharing space with you. Thank you.
Thank you. All the best. Thank you. And to my viewers, thank you for watching. Share it, like it. Download a free copy of my book when you visit my website. And starting this week, spirituallyinspired.ca is live. You can go and revisit all the previous interviews. Until next time, love and gratitude.